Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm Chris Love.
And I am John Stork. Chris, how was your weekend?
Good weekend. Weather's finally starting to turn in New England, and I turned 30 last week, so I had a big birthday party on Saturday. A lot of old teammates from my BU sailing team came down and hung out, and it was a really good weekend.
Cool.
How about yourself?
30th birthday is always a big milestone. Mine is somewhere in my past, unfortunately, but that's all good. I had a pretty good weekend. I went up to Newport. Everybody there is getting psyched for the Volvo stopover, which should be really fun. And I'm still a total college sailing nerd, so I spent plenty of time checking out TechScore, which was littered with women's championships mostly this weekend. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, of course I did. Have you ever wondered why it's so important to be a member of U.S. Sailing? We are all U.S. Sailing, from beginners to experts, from one-design sailors to offshore cruisers, and from instructor trainers to race officials. U.S. Sailing supports all types of sailors in countless ways. Where would sailing be without instruction and safety standards? Where would we be without Learn to Sail programs? Join or renew today to support these resources and ensure sailing remains a lifetime activity for everyone. Three best, most talented conferences for women's sailing, NISA, MAISA, and SAISA, all having their championships in one weekend, so I was definitely checking that out. It's also fun, like we said a couple weeks ago, it's fun to see some of the rock stars on the women's circuit actually on the women's circuit. Some of the best talent has been too busy with team racing and co-ed sailing to really make an appearance at the women's interconferences, but for the conference champs, they all come out. So not a whole lot of surprises in the results. I mean, Erica Reinecke led her BC Eagles to another NISA champs in New England, and then in SAISA, College of Charleston, still the most dominant team there in all aspects of college racing, taking the win. And in MAISA, pretty tight there between Georgetown and Navy. It looked like Navy was going to get it done on Saturday, but Georgetown was pretty consistent and takes the win in MAISA.
Yeah, Georgetown, pretty big performance in B division, but and congrats to them. But it's kind of crazy looking at those scores. You realize pretty quick how good Mary Hall is, and I think we should probably talk to her.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Mary Hall, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So
Mary, you and I know each other basically through competition only. I was coaching Dartmouth for a while, and I had a lot of respect for you, but I don't really know you that well. I know your two older brothers pretty well from coaching and sailing in the world, but I haven't really gotten the chance to know you, so I'm looking forward to this interview. First question I have, so you obviously had a really great weekend this past weekend in A division, and a lot of people watching this show and listen to the podcast, they've had varying levels of success, and for everybody it's a little different. You were clearly in some kind of zone this past weekend, and what I want to know is, like, does anything feel different for you when things are clicking that well?
I think definitely I'm a lot happier in the boat. I feel like I feel like anyone knows this, if they sail, they're just like kind of like get more angry and, not so talkative in the boat, with their crew and stuff, when like things aren't going well and you haven't really figured it out yet. So definitely the mood is lighter when, when you can get things to click.
From my perspective, I was just watching through TechScore and stuff, but it was fun to see you and your group back in the women's circuit, because you spent so much of this season doing team racing. What is it like to get back on that circuit? Is it different?
Yeah, definitely different. I feel like we're all kind of bummed to fleet race after we've been team racing the whole time, but I think it's something that we kind of need to do, just to maybe get refreshed a little bit. But yeah, I feel like it can help you. Like both types can help on both sides sometimes. Team racing can make you a little more aggressive in fleet racing, so like it was a good thing overall.
And last weekend was kind of your warm-up event, right? I mean, it was the same personnel sailing the Navy Spring, which was a co-ed event, but you sailed it as a women's team, right? Was that the idea, to kind of warm up for this one?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's some sort of procedural rule that you have to, your second team has to be a women's team if there's a dropout or something. So I guess we were kind of forced to, but I mean, we definitely had that in mind. Like, might as well practice with, with your women's team, just because, yeah, like you said, we've just been team racing and doing co-ed stuff. So it's good to clear out those cobwebs.
Speaking of team racing, your team racing squad qualified for nationals again a few weeks ago. Congrats on that. Excuse me, a solid third place finish. I notice it's basically the same team. You've graduated a few folks, but it's a lot of the team from last year's nationals is still intact. The difference being now you are the senior leader on the team. What has been the process, the evolution of last year's team to where you are now? What's been your message?
Well, we definitely realized how much we relied on Michael last year. He was definitely some really strong glue that kept me and Pope together. So that was like really hard, realizing that the hard way, and I guess it's hard to like when you're doing that transition to like still remember that you have strengths to bring to the team. So sometimes you feel like you need to like maybe change your style to like fill in for the missing gaps. Like Michael was pretty like aggressive, and I was kind of just like trying to go as fast as I could, and but like sometimes it's like hard to like remember like what strengths you can bring to the team. So that it's hard trying to fill in the gaps, but then like still remember like what you're good at. So.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's those are good points. One other question, Mary, you guys obviously have already qualified now for 2 out of the 3 nationals, and probably making semis in co-ed with your guys' track record. You guys should probably be able to make it through this coming weekend. So for you, as a really talented female skipper, that could be 11 straight days of sailing. What is your kind of approach to that? Would you possibly be taking days off in the middle of nationals? Would you look to get some time off, or do you just kind of roll with it? Also, what sort of like academic situation are you guys in around the time of nationals?
Yeah, that's a really hard thing to plan, because I guess you think you're kind of set up well at the beginning of nationals, but I guess the last year when we did 11 days in a row, it was like everyone was just very mentally done at the end. So hopefully this year will be better, just because we know how burned out we got. We will have all had all of our final exams before nationals, and we'll have graduation on the Friday before. So that'll be good. We'll have like clear minds and everything. But I think one thing I'm going to try to do differently, if we can, knock on wood, make it to all 3, is definitely try to schedule in maybe one day off in the middle, because it just has to be effective, even though you may not want to do it at the time. Just like seeing how like the last like 2 days were last year, I think that would be a really good thing to do. But that's tough, because I feel like I don't know when that day is going to be, because you don't want to take a day off during team racing, and I know I won't want to take a day off during women, so it's like tough to say when that actual day would come, but we'll get there when that comes.
Yeah, there's no question that it's the current format for college nationals. It's good for spectators, and it's good for kind of some real excitement at the end of the year. but there's no doubt that it's a real challenge on a handful of people, both skippers and crews like yourself, that are qualified for and able to participate in all of the events. And there's no doubt it's a challenge for you guys. And I know that there's a lot of coaches that want to see it changed. I don't know if it will be changed. One hard thing is you get yourself in trouble if you start making rules based on exceptions to the rule. And the reality is, people in your guys' situation, you are kind of an exception to the rule. There aren't many people sailing every event. But that said, it doesn't leave you guys in an awesome spot. So I hope that you can find some sort of system. Even if you don't get a day off, I hope you can find some system, some daily routine to rely on to kind of keep yourself level-headed, because it would be a shame to see you kind of burn out. I hope you can finish strong, because you deserve to. You've had an awesome run.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, hopefully that'll happen.
I would have to say, though, there would be few people probably more fit for a challenge like that than a senior at the Naval Academy. I mean, time management and being pushed to your limits is kind of part of the culture there, right? What's it been like balancing school, military life to some degree, and athletics?
Yeah, that's always a challenge, but I feel like since everyone's doing it here, it's like you can't really complain too much, because your roommates and all your teammates are in the same boat. So yeah, I mean, it's a challenge, but like it's something you kind of get over, and if you keep complaining, someone's just going to tell you to shut up eventually. So
yeah, I think I think Mary will be most suited for the challenge. I know. I think she could probably beat just about anybody in college sailing in a foot race as well. I know she's a pretty accomplished runner.
Thanks. I don't know.
The last question I have for you, Mary. I know, most kids graduating college are like looking for a job, and that's somewhat of a stressful situation. I know it's a little different for Navy. Do you have any idea where you're headed next year?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going into the submarine community. So that entails like maybe two more years of school, roughly, until you get sent to your submarine. So I'll have a little bit of time off, and then I'll eventually start the pipeline to go on the submarine, in which I don't know which one or what home port yet, but just starting to learn about nuclear power submarines is like my next step, and then I'll be assigned to one eventually.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's a little bit of a shame, because we know we're going to lose you from the world of highly competitive sailing, but that's okay. You're going to do bigger and brighter things, more important things for sure. But you've, like I said already, you've had an awesome run, and it's been awesome to watch you, and hopefully you get to close it out right.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks so much for being on the show, and good luck this weekend, and we'll see you in the postseason.
All right. Thanks. See you then.
The best team racing of the summer is happening in Zim 15s, and the schedule is set. Newport, Marblehead, Annapolis, and Charleston will host the hottest sailors and the coolest boats as they prep for the U.S. Team Race Championships this fall. Now is the time to pick an epic team name, sign up for events, and purchase your new Zim 15 or lock in a charter for the summer. Visit zimsailing.com for additional information, sail fast, and have a blast in a Zim 15.
So, Chris, now that we're through that conversation with Mary, why don't we? Well, actually, no. We shouldn't really spend too much time breaking down this coming weekend. There's, I believe, 5 out of the 7 conferences across the country are having their co-ed championships, leading into Fleet Race Nationals. I think that, how many spots are there up for grabs at co-ed semis this weekend?
Well, MCSA already did theirs, and CISA did theirs, so that's like 8 spots already grabbed. That leaves 28 more nationals berths coming up this weekend. Definitely way too much for us to tackle in this episode after that great talk with Mary Hall. But let's watch it this weekend, report on it Monday Morning Update, and then you and I can hash it out next week and figure out all that happened as we get ready for the national championship.
Yeah, that sounds like a better idea. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and I don't know, we'll see you next week.
See you then. Last weekend of college sailing until nationals.